Yuki Tsunoda is by far one of the most interesting drivers on the grid. Not just interesting, but it seems like the young Japanese sensation has started to gather momentum for himself and become more and more popular. In the last season of Drive to Survive, there was a whole episode about him and his lifestyle. With the improved driving style in 2022, Tsunoda has been a hot topic in the grid, as he has outperformed Gasly so far in the season multiple times. But there are many interesting facts that you probably had no idea about Tsunoda. And this is why we've made this video, to capture them for you. So stick with us till the end to find out what's so interesting about Tsunoda. Number 9. He didn't start racing until he was 10 years old. Unlike Verstappen or Leclerc, who entered a karting car when they were 4 and 8 years old, Tsunoda did this a little bit later in his life. He started kart racing at 10 years old. And he had major support from his father. Coming from Japan, he had a major love for racing and quickly picked up karting just like all the other F1 drivers. His tenure in karting was a very successful one, and he started in 2010 and made very quick progress. In 2010, Yuki joined the JAF Junior Karting Championship, and after the initial progress, he was able to join the regional class in 2013 and compete nationally in 2014. Number 8. His father was the main inspiration for Yuki to race. It goes without saying that kids at that age need inspiration to race, or someone to implement and nurture the love of racing in them. Such was the case with Verstappen, and such was the case with Yuki. However, Yuki's father didn't have a rich racing history like other F1 drivers' fathers, as he raced occasionally in a regional Japanese tournament known as the Gymkhana competition. It was known as the local rally-like race in Japan that had the potential to bring out massive crowds from the entire community. Yuki was always traveling with his father during these races, and just by watching him race, he found a love for racing. These races have implemented a deep passion for the sport at such a young age, and the love was returned back from his father, as he made sure to be present at almost every karting event through his childhood. Number 7. Yuki is sponsored by Honda. It goes without saying, and many will not find this fact surprising, but Honda does love Japanese drivers. This is why they've struck a deal with Yuki, and they are sponsoring him throughout his F1 career. Honda has sponsored Yuki from his early beginnings, and they have hosted a number of racing events throughout Japan just to help Tsunoda become the next pride of Japan. Yuki was a member of Honda's Suzuka Circuit Racing School and graduated in 2016. From there, he was quickly moved up in the Honda Formula Dream project, as this project was the long-term plan of Honda to come back in motorsport and be relevant yet again like in the old days. Number 6. Yuki raced in the Japanese F4 Championship. This entrance was made when Tsunoda graduated from Honda's school, and during this time, Yuki also competed in the regional series of the JAF F4 Championship. He was incredibly fast and showed great potential there, finishing 3rd in the National Formula 4 Championship and winning the regional competition. It goes without saying that Yuki was sponsored by Honda throughout these competitions, winning a total of 7 races that year. Number 5. CARLIN was the next move for Tsunoda. CARLIN is a very popular name in the sport, and the fact that they've decided to switch to Honda powertrains in 2020 has hinted about possibly suiting a driver from Japanese heritage too. Well, the hint was current, as CARLIN Racing has decided to put Tsunoda in their seat for the 2020 season. Why are we mentioning this as an interesting fact? Well, one couldn't help but note all the popular names in the F1 world that have previously raced for CARLIN, such as Vettel, Sainz, Lando Norris, etc. So, if we're to judge by them, Yuki has a bright future in F1. Number 4. His tenure in Formula 2 ended at P3. Although Tsunoda had amazing form throughout the first half of the year in Formula 2, he managed to finish P3 in the championship. At the end of the season, Tsunoda ended up with 3 wins, 4 pole positions, and 7 podiums. This was enough for the P3 place, as he moved to AlphaTauri, previously known as Toro Rosso, for the 2021 F1 season. Prior to his entrance in Formula 2, Tsunoda had experience in Formula 3 and Euroformula, all with Honda behind his back. Number 3. He is the youngest driver on the grid. Yuki Tsunoda came to replace Daniel Kvyat in AlphaTauri in 2020, which was the first year that the team raced under this name. Having itself rebranded from Toro Rosso, Yuki was already proven as a great talent, but AlphaTauri has decided to pull the trigger and make him the youngest driver on the grid. Yuki made his debut at 20 years, becoming the current youngest driver on the Formula 1 grid in 2021. However, this is far away from the record of all times, held by Max Verstappen as the youngest driver to ever sit in an F1 car at just 17 years of age. Number 2. Yuki loves to swear. A lot. For those of you who watch F1, this wouldn't come as a novelty. Yuki is a guy that is very positive, but when things don't go his way, he just loves to swear and curse. Most of the time when his car is experiencing problems, and the TV would cover the radio connection between Yuki and his engineer, all we would hear is beep noises. However, Yuki had to take control over this problem because it was mostly negative energy, and it's a sport that requires maturity. Therefore, he has said that he'll work on it. And in the 2022 season, we must be honest and say that we're seeing a much more mature driver compared to 2021. Also, thanks to Drive to Survive, we've seen what a day in Yuki's life looks like. He is just like any other teenager, with messy rooms, loves to sleep, and enjoys gaming. So although he races in the most prestigious motorsport, he is just like any other regular teenager. Number 1. Tsunoda was mentored by ALBON in 2021. This was perceived as a huge surprise by the F1 world, due to the fact that ALBON was the one that was supposed to have Tsunoda's seat for 2021 after being demoted from Red Bull. However, ALBON is a very sweet guy and always loves to offer his help, which is exactly what he did to Tsunoda in 2021. Yuki was struggling very much in the first season with AlphaTauri and couldn't understand how that car works. But thanks to Alex Albon's help, he managed to get a grasp on the car and understand its principles of working. In the second half of the season, Yuki started to improve more and more, and that can be seen in the 2022 season. Yuki has shown that he deserves a spot in F1, and as we mentioned earlier, Yuki was able to be faster than Gasly on multiple occasions so far. Prior to the Silverstone GP in 2022, Tsunoda sits at 11 points, while Gasly has 16. It's true that the Frenchman is higher on the ladder, but Tsunoda had a difficult ending to the Baku GP, where his DRS flap wasn't closing and he was forced to pit as he was running in the top 10. Gasly finished P5 in Baku, managing to gather up much-valued 10 points for the team. Other than that, Yuki has been brilliant so far and has been up to the expectations. We hope that you learned something about the youngest driver on the grid in 2022. Moreover, let us know if we missed something about Yuki, as we'll be more than happy to get feedback from you. We'll also be thankful if you like and subscribe to our channel, as that way you'll help us grow, and we'll be able to deliver more F1-related quality content with every passing day.